What's up everybody? GenExDividendInvestor here. In this video I'm going to show you how I algorithmically know that my June dividends are going to be the most dividends ever based on a bunch of new features I've added to my spreadsheet. So you've seen my 1.0 spreadsheet, which was a video I did, and it turned out to be my most popular video at over 50,000 views, which for me is a lot. And since then I've been working with a buddy of mine who's a subscriber and somebody on my Discord server named Men8V. And we've been adding a bunch of new features to the spreadsheet. So this is a beta of Spreadsheet 2.0, and I will zoom in so you can see it better, but it looks better on the desktop when you're not so zoomed in. Okay, so let me show you. So it still has the ticker, the logo. I added an accounts feature, and I'll dive into that in a minute. The number of shares, how the share price has trended. And this is actually live data because I'm filming this during the day. And then we have the portfolio value, percentage in the portfolio, some dividend information, passive income information. The month company increases is when they tend to increase their dividend. And then we have a pay date, which I highlight to kind of draw my attention to when dividends are going to be paid out. If it's within a month, it turns yellow. If it's within a week, it turns the cyan color, and then it's green if it's within a day. Dividend yield, and I highlight the ones that are 4% or more. A 3-year dividend CAGR, and that's pulled dynamically. You don't have to put that in. A sector, which I decided to put in manually because I didn't like when I put it in automatically, which ones they used. Current PE, and then some dividend information. The number of payments they pay out per year. So for example, you can come down, you'll see realty income is 12. All this is dynamically put in. You don't have to put any of it in. You only put in your ticker and the number of shares, and everything else gets filled out dynamically. Beta. And then this shows you how much each pay period that they pay out. So Microsoft pays out about $400 per quarter. And this is the month that it last paid out. And so one of the features I added was this calendar, which shows you throughout the year when different things pay out. And then I highlight the current month you're in dynamically in cyan. So again, this is all just automatic. And so you can see if you come down to June, we see that Microsoft is paying out $400 this month. Johnson & Johnson's paying out $866, Pepsi $775 about, Duke $996, 3M is paying out $787, and then we have McDonald's paying out $507, Realty Income's paying out about $297, Southern Company's paying out $700, ExxonMobil's going to pay out $740 this month, and then we have Goldman Sachs paying out $141, Chevron paying $231, Travelers at $130 about, and Pfizer at $177, bringing the monthly total for June up to $6,892.41. And then it also, adds everything up, and so you can see that right here the annual amount that I'm dripping is estimated at $50,255. And then this account. So I added this in for people who might have, let's say, a 401k, an IRA, a taxable amount. And so you can come in here and kind of pick which one you want. So if you look at account 2, it's going to show you, okay, there's no Disney in that account, and it updates the number of shares. And again, everything is dynamically changing. Or if you add them all back in, then you see it has it in there. So there's 17,180 shares that I have. If we go over here, this shows real time during the day that my portfolio has gained 0.31%. Looks like the market's been open for about an hour this morning. And it's gained about $4,800. Portfolio value, $1.542 million. And then we see, for example, this is the average weighted dividend yield. So it's not the average of the dividends, but it's weighting it in. So things like Microsoft and Apple, which are greater portions of my portfolio, will factor into it more with their lower yields. And then this is an average weighted portfolio CAGR of about 7.5%, which is really good. And then right here, I'm currently using a stock API that allows you to pull 50,000 messages per month for free. And this is a dynamic counter that shows I have 331,000 messages left. For some reason, IX raised my number of messages I can query from 50,000 to 500,000. I don't know why. So thank you, IX, for doing that. But anyways, this gives you a calculator because I call that for a variety of things in here dynamically. And then we have, these are a couple new things I added that are pretty cool. This shows what your estimated annual income is with no drip on the top, and then an estimated annual income with a drip, and it assumes a quarterly compound growth rate, and it assumes a 1% quarterly stock appreciation. I'll show you that. That's really neat. So basically what this means is that in 5 years, my income, which is currently estimated at $50,255, if I just did nothing and was using the money each year, then at year 5, that would have grown to $67,000 based on the CAGR. Or conversely down here, if I do drip it and I'm reinvesting those dividends, then it would grow from $50,255 up to this $76,700. And so I basically model this out over a bunch of years just so you can see it all the way up to year 35. And again, all this is just dynamic. All you have to put in is your number of shares and what the ticker is, and it'll calculate all this for you. And then down here, there are some buttons that you can push that automatically do stuff. So for example, an add new ticker button. What this does is it inserts a row in your spreadsheet, and it also copies down all the formulas. So you don't have to do the normal right click insert and then drag each column's formulas down. It automatically does all that for you. And so again, all you do is you click the add new ticker, and then you put in whatever new ticker you want, the number of shares, and some other buttons that we're kind of worked on right now. So it's still in beta because it's not quite ready yet. We're still testing things. This is some information about the Dow and S&P 500, how far they are off the peak, what their changes during the day, etc. And then here we've got some graphs. So this is one portfolio value by percent sector, and I will go out a bit so you can see it better. So we see that infotech is 18% of the portfolio, healthcare is 12%, consumer staples, food, beverages 11%, financials 2.6%, energy is 3.7%, etc., etc. And then another one, but this one is by the amount of passive income it generates. So for example, infotech is 6%. And if you looked up here, you could see that even though the portfolio value of infotech is 18% of the portfolio, which means Apple and Microsoft are 18%, the amount of passive income they generate is only 6%. That's because their yields are so low. Whereas utilities generates 13.5% of the income in the portfolio in Duke and Southern Company, but they're only 10% of the portfolio value. And then this is a fun little set of fields I created. So it shows the annual passive income is $50,255, and then it calculates the monthly at $4,187, the daily at $137, and the hourly at $5.74. And then if you want to calculate what the equivalent of your hourly is in a 9-to-5 job, it's about 6x what your straight hourly passive is, because of the number of hours you work in a year, the average vacation time somebody takes, the tax implications of pure dividend income. So this would be about $30 an hour if you were turning this into a 9-to-5 wage equivalent. And then, let's see, another interesting, scroll out for this one so you can see it. This is another interesting one, which is your estimated annual passive income of a drip versus no drip. And what's neat about this is you can see over time just the hockey stick compounding implications of what a drip enabled does versus not. Your income will still grow due to your CAGR, but when you're reinvesting those dividends, it just takes off year over year. And then, like I mentioned, these are the different accounts. So you can put in your 401k, your IRA, your brokerage account, whatever. One of the asks I had was to create a transaction history. This data in here is bogus, just using it for testing purposes. But basically, you can put your buys, your sells, if a drip comes in, how much you spent for the total transaction, including the commission, and then it'll calculate these things like your cost basis gets updated, your average share price gets updated, etc. And then this is the dividends you've received, and so it shows you a month by month. It just gets built up, and everything is dynamic. So for example, these are spark lines that show that Apple paid out in May and February. So if I add a new column in for June, and you could say June of 2020, and let's just pretend they're paying out 500. You can see it dynamically changes it. Or realty income, it paid out $291, then $292, $294, $295 in May. So they'll probably pay $297. And so you see how it dynamically puts it in. And then I also created this dividend goal tracker. So currently I'm at $50,255 per year. I put a goal in of $100,000, and so then this gauge fills up as you kind of move towards your goals. And then another tool that you can use to compare tickers. Scroll out a little bit so you can see it. So in this case, it's showing J&J versus Colgate-Palmolive and how J&J's assets and liabilities are trending versus Colgate's. And there's a variety of different kind of metrics in here that you can track that do that. And then this one, I have to scroll out even further so you can really see it. This tool is used to see how your portfolio will grow. It pulls in your portfolio value from the first sheet, the dividend CAGR, and then you can put a data point in of how fast your share prices grow over time. You have your portfolio's average weighted starting yield, and if you want to add any quarterly cash. And then all this gets modeled out for 60 years to show you your starting number of shares, how that trends, the account value, how it would trend, the amount of passive income, how it would trend, and et cetera, et cetera. And then down here, it's showing you on a quarter by quarter basis how all those data points change. And this is what is getting pulled into the first tab on the combined spreadsheet. So again, it gives you a very nuanced, detailed view of how things would trend over time. And then this is a view in my desktop view where I go in to get a broad view of my full portfolio in terms of how much the portfolio is changing, what the annual amount it drips, portfolio values, etc., etc. I would sincerely appreciate it if you can like this video as a simple way to thank me for my efforts at creating this free content. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, and consider checking out my Patreon page or my affiliate links in the description of this video. Thanks for watching, and remember, as Henry Ford said, when everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. Don't forget to join my Dividend Discord so that you and I can finally chat. Goodbye, and I'll talk to you again real soon. I am not a financial advisor, and these videos are for entertainment, inspiration, and educational purposes only. Investing of any kind involves risk. I am only sharing my opinion with no guarantee of gains or losses on investments.